You alright everyone, welcome back to the Hammer and Talk YouTube channel where I get to speak about Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Etihad. I've got to say, it was great to watch. It was fantastic to see football being played on the pitch, you know, ball to feet, quick movements, players running, you know, roaming from their positions, being creative and expressive on there, you know, working for their manager, working for each other, really trying to break each other's defences down. Well, it's more obviously one side than the other, but regardless to say, it was better than watching West Ham. Kevin De Bruyne has started for Manchester City, and as soon as I see this, as soon as I see that he was fit to play, I just knew he'd play a massive part in this game. The geezer from the off was incredible. As soon as it kicked off, he was just in and out of phases. Arsenal couldn't track him. You know, Xhaka couldn't get anywhere near the geezer. He was coming deep, he was going forward. He was just all over the place, in my opinion. And I just think that I think we've really like, I think we've just got someone incredible in the Premier League right now, watching week in, week out, and I think we should be really, you know, just privileged to be watching him. It's just every part. I mean, I've got to stop speaking so highly of him, because any time I've mentioned him, I'm generally praising him, but he's just so goddamn good. You know, he's got such a good technique with his passing. He weights the ball beautifully, you know. He sees all the spaces, all the gaps. It's like the pitch is like, I don't know, 10 times the size there actually is. It's just his vision, his creativity levels are just absolutely through the roof, you know. And in comparison, I know that slightly different players where De Bruyne likes to get the ball and charge forward and take some players on sometimes and go right wide, but in comparison to Mesut Ozil, I'm sorry, this is completely black and white. De Bruyne completely outshone him. Mesut Ozil was pretty much missing for most of the game. De Bruyne creating stuff from the start, you know, threading those balls through, and you know, it wasn't no surprise when Manchester City went 1-0 up. You know who it was? The man of the moment, the man of Manchester City right now. Kevin De Bruyne gets the ball. He's in the penalty area and he sees the goal, right? He's well off centre from it. Hits the ball, I'm sure it's with his right, across goal, right across the goalkeeper. Cech had no chance whatsoever. You know, hit the inside netting of the goal. Fantastic accuracy. You cannot give a geezer in that kind of form that kind of space, you know. You've got to even get in front of him and obstruct him. Do not let him come into the penalty area, and for God's sake, do not let the man shoot. City go 1-0 up. I've got to say, even though City went 1-0 up, they didn't change their mentality. They carried on controlling the game. Arsenal seemed to be really, I mean, at first Arsenal looks quite organised, and then it just fell apart as soon as Kevin De Bruyne scored that goal. It seemed like Arsenal could no longer, you know, keep tabs on any of the players. You know, all the City players were roaming free. You know, Aguero kept breaking free, Raheem Sterling kept breaking free. They just couldn't stop them. They was just way too much. It's amazing how the tide has turned now between Arsenal and Manchester City. Now, as we know, that Arsenal used to be way more superior than City. You know, then Manchester City started to loan a few players over to them, and then started to transfer them over. Then it started to be like people was comparing them, saying, "Oh, the old Arsenal versus the new Arsenal." Now Manchester City have just completely leapfrogged them. I mean, definitely the scoreline without a doubt reflects the levels of these teams right now. Manchester City are absolute part of the elites in Europe this year. I'm talking, they've got to be favourites to be going to at least the semi-finals of the Champions League this year. So, you know, expect them to be representing us, and, you know, on an English front, if you like, on a Premier League front, you know, representing us quite powerfully out there. I definitely think, for me, I definitely think they're going to get in the final. That's my opinion. But if you ain't expecting them to get at least in the semis, I mean, you know, what you're watching, you've got to be seeing this team play. And hopefully a lot of you did see them play, but it ended up going to half time with them only being 1-0 ahead. I have no idea how it ended up staying 1-0. But it seemed like Manchester City were just constantly trying to push for that second goal. They didn't in the end going into the break, but Arsenal just did not seem like they was hungry. They didn't seem like they wanted to progress, or at least they wanted to, you know, get on level terms. They just didn't seem hungry, like the motivation. And I do see a kind of similar motivation with West Ham, believe it or not. Like, the players just don't seem like they're fighting, you know. Hopefully Arsenal, my Arsenal subscribers, hopefully, you know, they'll understand what I mean, that it just didn't seem like they wanted to dig their heels in and really give it a go before half time. Then Manchester City into the second half, they get that 2-goal cushion that they was waiting for. Monreal brings down Sterling, who runs into the box. Sterling's blatantly looking for this penalty. He even shimmies his body a little bit more and he just goes down, flops really, really easy, which I expect from Raheem Sterling. He's that type of, he's the kind of, he's a player that I'd like to call a typical 2017 player. You know, a real, you know, he'll fold over, he'll flop, he'll do anything dirty to get a foul. He's just a naughty little player. Anyway, Monreal, it was a foul though, to be fair, it was a foul, but it's just the way Sterling goes about it. Monreal brought him down, up steps Aguero. What accuracy on this penalty. Post and in. Post and in. I mean, and when it even hit the post, it didn't even like go round to the side net in and round. It didn't just skim the post. It hit that inside of the post and went in. You know, that is almost perfect unless it goes just behind the goalkeeper's line, you know. Like, it was beautiful. Bottom right hand corner. No wonder why he's like City's most, you know, prolific goal scorer or highest goal scorer in the history of Manchester City. God, what a player they bought from Atletico Madrid. Then, out of nowhere, right, out of nowhere, well, I won't say out of nowhere, Lacazette come on and then Arsenal started to put a foothold in. They started to move the ball about into City and it seemed like, okay, they're kind of going 1-for-1, you know, it's really back and forth football. Then Ramsey pushes it, Arsenal go into the Manchester City towards the penalty area. Ramsey sees Lacazette on his right. I have no idea why Lacazette didn't start. I'd love to know, Arsenal fans, why is Lacazette not starting? Is it because Wenger is so poor tactically? Or, you know, I don't know why he preferred to put Iwobi out there on that wing instead of Lacazette. That's just crazy for me. I don't know. I don't understand that. But anyway, he lays the ball off to Lacazette, who hits it so hard and low underneath the goalkeeper, straight under. You know, I mean, the Arsenal fans were going ballistic at this point. I mean, they were quite quiet in this game. You know, Manchester City fans were really droning them out. Then the Arsenal fans just all of a sudden, they just, you know, as it happens a lot in football, they just get that little spark and that little bit of belief, you know. And anyway, they scored 2-1 to Manchester City. The fight back is on. Well, the fight back was on until a really poor decision came along. Silva receives the ball well offside. He was crazy offside. The ball came, all he did was he received the ball, he just squared the ball to the substitute Jesus. He slots it home, 3-1. Heartbreaking for Arsenal. In my opinion, that was really, really hot. If I'm watching it and I'm an Arsenal fan, I'll sit there and I think we've been waiting that long for us to spark a comeback. Then we get that little opportunity, that little bit of hope. All weekend, they've travelled to Manchester, man, from London, right? They get that little spark, that little glimmer of hope. And then a linesman decision like that goes against them. Absolutely gutting, you know. But Manchester City did see the rest of the game out. You know, they did their professional job. They did what they had to do. Mesut Ozil was really, really getting frustrated towards the end. Ended up getting a yellow card and then almost getting sent off. I mean, that was damn close. But, you know, it is what it is. Manchester City, you know, they keep their dominance in this Premier League. They show that level that there is between them and Arsenal now. Now, for next season, Arsenal have to build now. They have to build because, you know, Manchester City are becoming like a rival because they're such similar clubs and they've both had similar players play for them, and there's still links now that Arsenal players are going to City, like Sanchez and that, you know. And, you know, Man City are like, you know, we'll trade our Sterling and you can have him. And it's a really strange setup going on between, you know, Arsenal and Manchester City. So Arsenal really do need to muck their ideas up. I mean, for me, I'd probably start off with sacking Arsene Wenger, to be honest with you. I think it's time that he does go, to quote Claude from Arsenal Fan TV, I definitely think it is time for him to go for Arsenal to move on as a club, you know. Sometimes you've got to go back to go forward. But they might not even be going back if they do get a new manager. Who knows? But let me know what you think about it in the comments below, alright? Anyway, people, I am gone. Comment, like, subscribe, and as always, keep sharing my shit. I'll see you all later.